How you guys doing, and welcome to another Arc Garage video. My Alpha 166 project has been moving along slowly. However, now that the weather is getting better, I'm ready to put it in high gear. As I said before, one of the big disappointments of this car is the interior. Everything needs some kind of attention. Even these door panels are in kind of rough shape. If we take a better look at the interior, you can see that even the leather steering wheel is quite worn out, so I'm gonna be fixing that in one of the next videos as well. One of the things that is gonna require most work is the center console and few other panels which are covered with this rubberized paint. The layer is quite thick and it's disintegrating, so right now it's collecting dirt and grime and it's looking quite nasty. Center console is not the only problem. Even the glove box doors, as you can see right here, are covered with the same paint. I don't know what was the logic behind this, but all car manufacturers do this. So now it's going to take a lot of work and effort to get it looking nice. What I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to take one of these panels off, I'm going to remove the paint, and I'm going to restore it to new condition. So basically we're going to go from this right here to this. So what I've done here, I've removed one of these panels. This one is located right under the steering wheel, but before I start, I'm essentially gonna do a little experiment. I'm gonna test the nitro solvent, 70% alcohol, and basically a degreaser to see which one of these three things removes this paint best. I'm gonna start with a 70% alcohol. This is one of the things that I recommend when it comes to cleaning window switches and things like that. It's not as strong, and if the window switches have base coat, the 70% alcohol is not gonna damage it. If I try to wipe this paint off, you can see the paint is coming off, but not as much, and since this layer is quite thick, I don't think this is going to be a viable option. Moving on to the nitro solvent. Now this is one of the things I personally do not recommend, mainly because the solvent might degrade the plastic itself. However, for this little experiment, I'm willing to give it a try just to see how well is it going to remove this rubberized paint. I can see that the paint is coming off quite well. However, I can also notice that the solvent is evaporating rather quickly, and I'm essentially gonna need a lot of it just to clean this panel. So I also don't think that this is gonna be the best option for this job. Lastly, we got the degreaser. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna spray it on and I'm gonna leave it on for a couple of minutes before I try to wipe off the paint. Alright, so I've let it sit for approximately 5 minutes and now I'm gonna try to wipe the paint off. This actually works surprisingly well. You can see that just with few swipes with this cotton rag, a lot of paint has come off and I'm almost down to the black plastic beneath. I can also notice that I'm gonna use a lot of these cotton rags since they get easily saturated with this paint. So since this seems like the best way to remove this paint, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spray the degreaser over the whole panel and I'm gonna use the cotton rags to wipe the paint off. We'll see how well the process goes. Moving on to the second part, I got almost all of the paint removed. However, since the surface has texture to it, I'm gonna use this little brush and some water to try to get the paint out of all of the little pores. Here's the end result. I basically got 99.9% of the paint removed. There is maybe a little bit left in these pores, but that's basically impossible to remove. I don't think it's gonna give me much trouble since I'm gonna repaint this piece anyway. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna move to the next part of the process. I'm gonna repaint this piece. I'm gonna use the black color since the seats and everything else I got for the interior is in the black. This panel is actually made from two pieces, the one side which I had to remove the paint from and the back end. It's held together with 8 screws, so that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna remove the back part so I don't have to mask off everything. Before I apply any primer or paint, I'm gonna use 70% alcohol and some rag to wipe the panel off. Needless to say that this is a very important step in the process since any dirt or grease left on the panel is gonna prevent the paint from adhering. So take your time, make sure to wipe the panel good since you don't want to be repeating this process all over again. First, I'm gonna spray the plastic primer. Now, usually I would use the regular primer as well if this was a flat piece of plastic, but since it has texture to it, I don't want to fill up the pores. It's not gonna look good. Moving on to the paint, I'm basically going to use a matte black coloring spray. I'm gonna apply 3 layers all together. The first one is gonna be thin, however it can be quite tricky to do that, especially if you are painting outside with a bit of wind as I'm doing right now. So here goes the first layer. I'm gonna let it dry for 10-15 minutes, then I'm gonna apply second layer, wait 10-15 minutes, and I'm gonna apply the third layer. And here is the final result. Now I gotta admit I'm more than happy with it. There is just the right amount of shine coming from this black color and the part basically looks like new. I still got the whole center console, the glove box, and 2 small panels on each side of the center console, so I got my work cut out for me. That would be all for this video. If you liked it, hit the like button and support our channel by subscribing and by sharing our content with the rest of car enthusiasts.